Karl Marx (1818 to 1883) was a German philosopher, economist, historian and political theorist best known for his foundational work in the development of socialist and communist thought. His ideas have had a profound influence on the world, particularly in the realms of politics, economics, and social theory. Early life and education. Marx was born on May 5, 1818 in Trier, Prussia, now Germany. He came from a relatively affluent family. His father was a lawyer. Marx attended the University of Bonn and later the University of Berlin, where he studied law, history, and philosophy. His intellectual influences included German philosophy, especially Hegel, and French socialist thought. Career and development of ideas. Marx initially pursued a career in journalism. In the early 1840s he became involved with the Rheinische Zeitung, a radical newspaper, but his articles critical of the Prussian government led to his dismissal. Around this time he began to develop a materialist conception of history, arguing that economic forces are the primary drivers of societal change. In 1843 Marx moved to Paris, where he met Friedrich Engels, a German industrialist and social scientist who would become his close collaborator. Engels shared many of Marx's views and together, they co-authored several important works. Key works and contributions. The Communist Manifesto. This pamphlet, co-authored with Engels, is one of Marx's most famous works. It calls for the overthrow of capitalist societies and the establishment of a proletarian working-class revolution. The manifesto outlines the historical development of societies through class struggle, advocating for the working class to seize control of the means of production. Das Kapital. Marx's magnum opus, Das Kapital, is a critical analysis of capitalism. It examines how capitalism functions, focusing on the relationship between labor, capital, and the production of goods. Marx explores the concept of surplus value, how capitalists extract profit from workers' labor, and critiques the inherent contradictions in capitalism, which, he argued, would lead to its eventual downfall. Historical materialism. Marx's theory of historical materialism posits that the material conditions of a society's economy shape its political and ideological structures. He argued that throughout history societies have been organized around modes of production, e.g. feudalism, capitalism, and that social change occurs when these modes of production are overthrown and replaced by new systems, driven by class struggle. Later life. After years of activism and writing, Marx lived most of his later life in London, where he continued to write, study, and work on Das Kapital. He was not widely recognized during his lifetime, but his ideas gained considerable attention in the years after his death, especially in the wake of revolutions and social movements that drew on his theories. Marx's personal life was marked by hardship. He faced poverty and the loss of several children. Engels supported him financially, allowing Marx to focus on his work. Marx's legacy. Marx died on March 14, 1883 in London. While his ideas were not immediately accepted, they gained traction in the late 19th and 20th centuries, particularly with the rise of socialist and communist movements. His work laid the intellectual foundation for the development of Marxist theory and inspired revolutions, notably in Russia in 1917 and later in other parts of the world. Marx's ideas have continued to evolve through the works of others, leading to the development of various schools of Marxist thought. His critiques of capitalism and his advocacy for class struggle remain influential in contemporary political discourse, although his predictions about the inevitable collapse of capitalism have not been fully realized. Karl Marx's life and work changed the course of history, particularly in the fields of politics and economics. His analysis of capitalism, class struggle, and historical materialism provided an intellectual framework that influenced socialist and communist movements around the world. While some of his predictions have not come to pass, Marx's ideas continue to be a major point of debate and study in understanding the dynamics of power, economics, and society.